Welcome back to week 7 of Couch Readings. I'm your host, Ryan Thornhill, and we are very excited to share with you our live stream table read of Failed Bechdel Test by Pedro Diegues. After a disappointing book club session where little time was spent discussing literature due to conversations circling back husbands' boyfriends, two women decide to have an exclusive one-on-one book club in a coffee shop where their conversation also spirals onto the topic of men. We are excited to have the playwright here with us today to join us after the reading for a discussion. Returning to Couch Readings are two Australian actors, Elisa Vitagliani and Fernanda Mirialdo. They read for the characters Amari and Kellyanne in our first Couch reading, Hold'em. For today's reading, Elisa will be reading the part of Lisa, and Fernanda will be reading the part of Maria. Hi, ladies. Thanks for being here with us today.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for having us back.
Just give me one. So now let's not waste any more time. Thank you for being here, and we're going to go ahead and present to you Failed Bechdel Test by Pedro Diegues. Lisa is sipping her coffee, scrolling aggressively on her phone with her available hand. She puts her coffee down and starts texting in a frustrated manner. Maria sits opposite Lisa and waits to be acknowledged. Maria takes her own phone out of her pocket, clears her throat, and places her phone face down on the table, dramatically, to get Lisa's attention.
Sorry.
Everything okay, Lisa?
Yeah, everything's fine. Are you not getting a coffee?
Yeah, but I'm also getting a muffin, and so they're all going to bring it all together.
A muffin?
Yeah. Apparently, if you get a muffin with your coffee, you get like 25% off.
Oh, is that the same deal with brownies? Literally, every table has someone eating a brownie, and now I'm craving one.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Apparently, it's muffins.
Of course, it's only muffins. Wouldn't fit their narrative for any other snack.
What do you mean?
The name of this place? Drury's Coffee?
I don't get it.
Who lives on Drury Lane, Maria?
All right, the Muffin Man.
Yes, the Muffin Man lives on Drury Lane.
When wasn't it enough for a coffee shop to just be a coffee shop without an overthought out marketing gimmick?
Gimmicks, hey?
Anyway, let's talk about this book.
Oh, right. Yeah. Look, most people have book clubs with a group.
Yeah, we tried a group and they spent like 10 minutes talking about the book and about 35 about their kids.
Or their husbands.
Okay, exactly.
Okay, so here we are, two intelligent women taking time for ourselves to discuss successful literature with no distractions.
I'm excited. Okay, let's do this.
Great. So what did you think of the book?
I loved it. I felt that it ticked like so many of the boxes for me. It had romance and drama, it just oozed it. The story, the love story of two aristocrats, lovers running away, leaving the country estate and wealth to escape family politics. Their attempt of sailing away into the sunset, resulting in a shipwreck on an undiscovered island. So whimsical, yet so dramatic. And the story of like two polar opposites overcoming obstacles, transcending their love beyond the limits of inspiring me. Her character development was just inspiring. Starting the book, she was basically a trophy wife, filling her days with forced smiles and polite party planning. But by the end of the book, she single-handedly built a community for her and the island children. Huts, a school, a bloody stone oven. Not only that, she was caring for her husband from scorpion bite, pneumonia, a tsunami. I mean, it was a real page turn I couldn't put down. What do you think?
I thought it was shit.
What? Why?
What, are you kidding me? The reason why they got stranded in the first place was because he refused her help to navigate, i.e., didn't want to ask for directions. Typical. The only character development she had was from a trophy wife to a handmaid. You know, he wouldn't have gotten the scorpion bite if they had built the huts before spending a week building rafts like she sheepishly suggested. He wouldn't have got pneumonia if they hadn't had sex in the rain. Why do people think that's romantic? I'll tell you why it's not. Pneumonia. And I wish the tsunami would have wiped out the whole island so I wouldn't have had to read 8 more chapters of this woman catering to a pathetic waste of space. At the end of the day, it's just a story of yet another guy distracting a woman from living out her full potential.
Wow. I was not expecting that. Especially after you called it successful literature.
Yeah, so was 50 Shades.
True.
Maria's phone vibrates on the table. Lisa jumps for her own phone.
Oh, it's yours.
No, it's okay.
It's okay. We can have a short phone break.
Okay. What is up with you? Why are you so focused on your phone today?
My head is just somewhere else.
Is it Artie?
Yes. I can't keep my mind off him. I've texted him 3 times already this morning and I've heard nothing back. Do you think I should call?
You always do this. They're not like us. They don't carry their phones around them 24/7 like we do. Besides, you just saw him yesterday.
Yeah, but what could he be doing?
Talking to someone, gambling, popping pills.
I think I should call him.
You're going to piss him off one day.
I can never piss him off. I'm his princess. He says so himself.
Lisa, listen. You've been so focused on him lately. You know, it's okay to think about yourself every now and then. Be selfish for a bit. Artie is doing his thing, and you're doing yours.
It's easy for you to say, but that's not the reality.
Yes, it is the reality. Look, Bruno has been texting me nonstop all day, and I reply to every 10th message with a one-word response, and most of the time it's just an emoji.
Yeah, well, you can't compare our situations.
Why not? At the end of the day, it's just another guy distracting us from living our full potential.
Oh my God, you are ridiculous.
Your words, not mine. Look, Bruno and Artie are more alike than you think.
I really don't see how.
We bombard them with attention and we receive zero in return. We go MIA a bit and our phones start blowing up.
Maria's phone buzzes.
See?
Waiter brings Maria's coffee and muffin.
Thank you. You know what? You need to toughen up, girls. Put yourself first. Start doing things for you. Listen to some old school Beyonce and me, myself, and eradicate those selfless thoughts in your head.
Yeah, that's a bit of a reach.
Whatever, girl, you laugh. The point is, start being more selfish. Stop thinking about everyone else and start treating yourself.
Okay, can I have some of your muffin then?
Actually, I got it for Bruno. I was going to take it home for him.
Are you serious?
What? Blueberry is his favorite. It's like crack for him. I'll just order you another one.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Excuse me. Yeah. Can I please get another muffin and yeah, a napkin? Yeah, a napkin.
Okay. God, that was embarrassing. I could have just gone up there.
Oh, would you, done? No, you wouldn't. If you want something, just shout it out and demand it from the universe or from the cute muffin man.
Okay, let's get back to the book. Do you think it passes the Bechdel test?
What's the Bechdel test?
Well, it's basically a measurement of the representation of women in literature. It just needs to pass 3 simple requirements. 1, it has to have at least 2 women in it who, 2, talk to each other about, 3, something besides a man.
Well, other than Sylvia and her husband, there was that hallucination of the mermaid that asked her if she wanted to eat a tuna sandwich.
Oh, yeah. I
So,
forgot about that.
so from those requirements, you said it does pass the Bechdel test.
Shit, you're right.
Waiter brings another muffin with a napkin and sets it in the middle of the table.
So, does this mean that women are represented fairly because a Victorian dame had a conversation in her dreams with a mermaid about a tuna sandwich?
Oh, look, yes. No, I'm not.
Well, how about fair representation of women in fiction can be about what they are talking about rather than who they are talking about?
The point is that women have more depth to them than just talking about men.
Well, look around. They're everywhere, constantly doing stupid shit, but looking fine as hell, making us act like fools. We can't ignore their existence, and I think that's okay to talk to them about conversations or objectifying the muffins man's fine ass to appreciating the quality of taste and craftsmanship of this beautiful muffin to the 20%, 25% discount robbery from a marked up price compared to last week's wholesale where you're actually just saving 5% of the muffin.
What? Really? If you knew that, why did you get the muffin?
I told you. Bruno loves them. Can I have your napkin? I need to have this one in for him.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Oh my God, Lisa.
What?
The waiter wrote his number on the napkin.
Muffin Man? No way. Let me see. He is cute.
Yes, he is. And he's also mine.
What do you mean it's my muffin?
That I ordered.
Well, I'm being selfless, just like you told me.
Oh, you can start tomorrow, girl.
Oh.
Is it Artie?
Yes.
Well, answer it then.
Hi, Granddad. I left you a few texts this morning, but you didn't answer. Are you okay? Oh, you were with Betty.
Women.
Oh, playing bingo.
Gambling.
Oh, and you felt doozy from your pills.
Popping the pill.
Okay, well, look, I'm glad you're having fun. I just wanted to check up on you. I love you, Granddad. Okay, I'll speak to you soon. Okay, bye.
So you're having a standard Thursday night then? Women, parties, drugs?
Yeah. Look, maybe you're right, and I just need to hang back and be less worried about him.
I'm always right. Just like I'm right about the Muffin Man leaving me this number for me.
Well, did you text him?
No, Bruno won't stop blowing up my phone, so I had to respond.
Oh, what's up with him?
He needs help with his algebra homework.
Algebra? Already? What year is he in?
He's 3 grades before I even knew what algebra was. It's ridiculous what these kids do at school nowadays.
Yeah, they'll probably be reading this trash in English class soon.
You're harsh. I think she wrote a good book.
You mean he?
No. Jamie Eccles.
Yeah, Jamie Eccles. Where does it say Jamie's a she?
Where does it say he's not?
Oh, well,
frantically looks back in front of the book.
This is why you didn't like the book. You were biased before you even started, hence portraying Sylvia as a handmaid.
I could say the same about you.
Well, what does it matter if Jamie Eccles is a man or a woman?
Well,
Maria wraps up the muffin in the napkin and puts it in her bag.
why does it matter? Maybe you're the one that needs to re-listen to some Beyonce. How does Independent Woman go again? Kelly, can you handle this? Michelle, can you handle this? Beyonce, can you handle this? Take your muffins home to your kids?
Ha! Talk about reaching. And by the way, that wasn't just Beyonce. That was Destiny's Child. You literally named all of them.
You're right. Let's not overcredit B. Lemonade was her best album, but let's not forget why she wrote it.
Yeah, Jay-Z was cozying up with Becky with the Garden.
That's right.
So one of your favourite albums that spends half of its track list trashing her husband, i.e. failing the Bechdel test, is probably the most iconic feminist album in current pop culture.
Basically.
I'm sure there's a track about her father too.
Yeah, Daddy's Lessons. I love that song.
Still, it's a woman talking about a man. Should we not shun her? Does us talking about taking a muffin home for my son, or you been concerned about your granddad mean we fail feminism because we failed the Bechdel test?
Well, the Bechdel test isn't a way to evaluate something, whether something is feminist. It's a tool to call out to gender inequality in our pop culture. And it's to point out that women have more depth to their stories and a range of concerns that go beyond men.
Oh, I completely agree. I just don't think we should be punished or thought less of because we talk about men. I think before we start screaming, men are trash, we need to remember that men outside the romantic spectrum exist.
Whatever. Jamie Eccles is for sure a man.
I'll check.
While Maria searches for the author's gender on her phone, Lisa sees the waiter hand a brownie and a napkin to another pair of girls beside them. The girls smile and laugh to each other and flirt with the waiter.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Maria.
What?
Maria. The waiter just gave those girls his number 2.
What?
Yeah, he wrote it down on a napkin too.
What? A piece of trash!
Oh, Maria, please don't make a scene. Don't make a scene.
How does he think that that's okay, though? What a pig! I have to call him out.
Oh, Maria, please don't.
Maria stands up and shouts across the coffee shop.
Excuse me. If I could just have everyone's attention, please. I just want to make a simple question.
Oh my God.
Do you know the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man? The one who lives on Philanthropist Lane. I wouldn't be surprised if you did know him, because this pastry pushing
Oh my God.
man has been handing out his number on napkins like he's God's gift. And here I am, defending his gender to my friend and telling him that all men are trash.
Maria, sit down.
What? I was just getting to the middle of my speech. He was about to get to the good part.
That's not his number.
What do you mean that's not his number?
You text that number to donate $5 towards nursery rhyme books for underprivileged kids. You get a free brownie in return.
The brownie that everyone has.
Yeah.
Maybe we should leave.
Yeah, maybe I should have left when you first got up.
Oh, by the way, I found out the gender of Jamie Eccles.
Now is not the time, Maria.
You were right. He's a man.
I told you only a man can write a woman like that, but no, you were convinced.
He's also gay.
Oh.
Maria and Lisa look at each other for a moment, taken back from the information. They pack up their stuff and leave the coffee shop briskly. Blackout. Very good job, guys. First off, I just want to take a minute to apologize real quickly that we were having a bit of intense technical difficulties there in the beginning. And I was trying to figure it out while still trying to get ready for the reading. So I just want to say sorry about that. Well, that was a brilliant job. Very good. Very good. Let me pull this up here. Now, can I just go ahead first? How do you guys feel? How did that feel for you getting through that script and doing that reading?
I loved it.
It's a really, really fun script, and
Yeah.
it is really tailored to us. Like, you know, I think we were both able to draw quite a lot of personal experiences into that. Like, how much, especially now, how much do we miss having a coffee with a girlfriend? It was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Still very true. So very true. Okay, now before we go ahead and jump into the discussion, I do just want to introduce our playwright, who just happens to live with me. So we will have him come in here in a minute. So let's jump into our discussion, and I would like to introduce our playwright, Pedro Diegues. Hey, you're gonna have to.
Hi, why did you say I live with you? I was going to make a joke about, you know, we can like no longer social distance, and I just flew over really quickly because my laptop doesn't work.
Sorry for not allowing you to have your joke. Thanks for being here, Pedro. What a fun play. Now, hearing it read, just what are some thoughts going through your mind before we jump into the discussion?
Oh, it was fun. Like, you guys made it so fun. I really appreciate you guys doing this play as well. Like, I don't know, many people out there might not know, but I wrote this because you guys inspired me with these characters, because they're very similar to you guys. They're independent women that have a big heart towards the men in your life, whether they're your partners or family members. So I just wanted to write something for you guys.
Thank you.
And thank you. And we are so grateful that we got to actually perform a piece that was written for us. That's pretty special. You don't get that very often. So we're very grateful. Yeah.
Very good. Awesome. Okay, now let's go ahead and jump into some discussions about the play here. Now, first, just for you two, Elisa and Fernanda, I just want to ask you some simple questions just to hopefully spark some conversation and discussion about the piece. Let's go ahead and give a one-word response or short phrase that expresses your gut-level impression of the play. Let's go ahead and start with Elisa.
One word? I haven't used one word to describe anything, but probably empowering, I'd say.
Wow.
Damn it!
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say powerful. So similar.
Look,
Yeah.
same thing, but different applications.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, then the next one. What moments in the play stood out to you? Go ahead, Elisa.
Getting a phone call from my granddad. Yeah.
Very good. Well, and that was one of the things that was like our switch, nobody thought. They thought you were probably talking to your partner or your boyfriend. And then we find out that it's
when I first read the script, and I was like, oh, thank God, she's not talking about a guy. I think, we've all kind of come to this point in our lives where we don't give a shit about men. Like, we don't give a shit about whether someone's responding to text or anything. So I was like, why is this girl like following up on text messages or calls? It was her granddad, and that makes so much more sense to me. I was just like, of course, I do that to my grandfather.
Okay, Fernanda?
So for me, it was that turning point as well. Like that completely unexpected. And it was so built up so perfectly as well when Maria says, like, why is that like a measure of feminism? Like, why can't we just talk about different types of men? Or, they don't just have to be tied into our romance and things like that. It can also be men that we admire, that we care for, that we have, raising them, things like that. So I found that it really spoke that we're very, when we see things, we're very quick to put the assumption in, but without by filtering all the other options. So I liked that pleasant surprise that, oh, they're actually not talking about a romantic partner, and I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and just jump into some questions that I have for the playwright, and hopefully it will go ahead and spark, further discussions and things. So first one for you, Pedro, is how did writing this play come about? What inspired you to create it?
Okay, so I'm currently working on another script where I'm struggling to write a well-rounded female character amongst like a predominantly male cast. So I gave myself an exercise to write a short scene with 2 female characters to get in that kind of headspace. So when trying to plan what the conversation was going to be about between these 2 female characters, I was conscious that a male writer, writing a conversation between 2 women, the last thing I should do is have them talk about men. And that kind of reminded me of the Bechdel Test, which I've always had mixed feelings about. So really quickly, the Bechdel Test came about in the 80s on a comic strip by Alison Bechdel. The comic strip showed 2 women standing in line for a movie theater trying to decide what to watch. And one of them says the movie has to meet 3 simple requirements. It has to have 2 women who have a conversation with each other about anything other than a man. And they both end up leaving because none of the movies showing actually met these requirements. So the test became really popular amongst movie buffs because it was perceived as like a measurement of female representation in movies. Sweden actually in like the 2000s, they started to give movies that pass the Bechdel Test special ratings on the movie promos, and moviegoers were totally invested in making sure the movies they watched had to pass the Bechdel Test. So it had a big impact on box office numbers in Sweden and stuff. But the problem with that was that you can have crap movies that pass the Bechdel Test, and you can have really good movies that fail the Bechdel Test. So, for example, I've lost my list, so let's see if I can remember these off the top of my head. You've got movies like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, they all fail the Bechdel Test. Most Harry Potter films, they fail the Bechdel Test. The Hurt Locker, the director, she's a female director. She was the first female director to win an Oscar for her directing. That fails the Bechdel Test. Mm-hmm. But then you've got, and then movies like Avengers and Tomb Raider, who have powerful women, they fail the Bechdel Test. But then you've got movies like American Pie 2 that passes the Bechdel Test because there's 2 women in there that talk about clothing. It's not about men, it's about clothing. And then you've got, I forgot what the movie is called, but it's an 80s sci-fi movie where 2 guys make a sex bot. That passes the Bechdel Test. There's a Marilyn Monroe movie that passes the Bechdel Test because they discuss what they're having for lunch. So I found that test really problematic when it came to judging a movie or female representation in the movie. So the problem with the test was, even though good movies passed the Bechdel Test, it didn't necessarily mean that it represented women fairly. Just because 2 women talk about anything other than men isn't really a giant step towards feminism. And just because 2 women are talking about men doesn't mean they are anti-feminist. So feminism to me is the equality of genders, and not about persecuting a gender to elevate your own. And I feel like the Bechdel Test, it becomes very easy to do that. But it doesn't mean I don't think there needs to be more attention paid to female representation and female relationships in fiction. So yeah, anyways, I basically divided that in a dialogue that was bouncing around in my brain, divided that up into 2 characters and just let them hash it out. One educating one person about the Bechdel Test and one telling me what the problems was. So the hypocrisy that I found within the Bechdel Test, I kind of just let that mirror into a man writing a play about 2 women who try not to talk about men, but end up mostly talking about men, but is not an anti-feminist play, if that makes sense.
It was fantastically done. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you 2 feel about the Bechdel Test now that you know a little bit about it? Lisa?
I'm surprised that I didn't learn about it in English in Year 12. What a great theme. What a great argument to have, or, theme for English literature. Something that I think everyone should kind of be aware of. Even just knowing about it now, subconsciously you're going to go forward now and watch any kind of movie and think,
Mm.
are there two? Like, I wouldn't have even thought about it, to be honest, like, you know, in any other movie. But, you know, again, when you learn literary or film techniques, you know, the second that, you know, you watch a movie and there's like a dark shadow or the color red, you go, oh yeah, look, there's passion, and that's a really dark emotive scene. So now that you know it, you know, you'll go back and be able to reflect on it going forward. And that's what I'm excited for. The next movie I watch. Look out.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about this the other day when you guys were explaining the Bechdel test to us. And my favorite movie of all time is When Harry Met Sally. And I find that it encompasses relationships across so many levels, and it would completely fail the Bechdel test because that's all they talk about. The women are constantly talking about men and relationships with men, but the men are doing it too. So then I kind of raised some ideas of, is there like the men equivalent, or is it singling out women already squashing us a little bit as well? Like, if it is about equality and not elevating one above the other, by saying that we have to test ourselves, we're actually being anti-feminist. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all very interesting, and that's the purpose of all of this, is to spark the conversation at the very least.
Very true. Yes, exactly. Okay, now our next question, Pedro. Do you have any questions for Elisa and Fernanda about the characters?
Yeah. So you guys say that the best part for you was the reveal when you find out they're not talking about their partners; they're actually talking about like their grandfather or their son. So a lot of people write with an intention of character development, but I was more interested in the audience's development of what they think about the characters before and after that reveal. So, Elisa, what was your like impression of your character? Like, did you judge her really harshly before you found out she was talking about like her grandfather?
Yeah. We absolutely did. Oh, hi, Jem. I can see that Jem's popped a comment there. Yeah, look, I absolutely loved it. And I know that, like, having known you personally and knowing that this kind of role was, you know, written with us two in mind, I was like, sugar, does Pedro think that I only talk about men? But no, it turns out that I only do talk about my granddad, which is true. Because most of our conversations up to that was about my nonni. So it's really funny. But I did love that we automatically had that perception, and that, you know, comes with, you know, dating and all that kind of, like, you know, male female stuff is all just in your face constantly.
Well,
you open up,
it's kind of our day
and everything.
It is our day to day. Like, when we get together with our girlfriends, what do we talk? We do. That's it. We naturally, in one way or another, we get there. So it's a natural conversation.
And the other one, and like just from sitting in conversations with other females, and the other person wants to know that.
Yeah.
They want to know what's going on in your personal life with your partner. And you know, so it's not like you're, exactly.
And my message is that you shouldn't be punished for that. Like, you shouldn't be thought less of like a feminist because you do take the time to talk about men. But that might be really easy for a man to say. So sometimes I try and be careful what I say. But look, you know what? I'm human. This is what I think. And I like, as a gay man, like, female empowerment is huge to me. And there's a question here, Ryan. How do you make the question up here?
This one?
Yeah. So Wade, clearly the playwright is male, but why did you write about empowering women? Like, I just have this belief that just because women talk about men, they're not disempowered. You know, like I feel like, okay, so I don't know if you follow like pop culture, but Lana Del Rey recently has been posting a few things saying that she feels targeted because a lot of her music is about being not empowered by men, but she's more passive than anything else. But that doesn't make her less of a feminist. And I completely agree with what she said. She dragged a few artists into the fight, which she didn't need to. Like, you shouldn't target other women to make a point. But she's completely right. You don't have to be like this big, strong superhero woman to feel like an empowered woman. And I don't feel like people should be punished to talk about what they love talking about just because it fits a criteria. As
Can
soon
I
as
add?
you're down, then we're good.
Can I also add another point that was really clever? One of the first comments that Maria makes about the book club is that they spend 10 minutes talking about books and then 35 minutes talking about their kids. And she's a mum. And then she's empowering her friend to take time for herself. And I found that really refreshing because I know a lot of great, great mums. And sometimes I feel those words literally coming out of my mouth. Like, to be a good mum, to be a great person, you still need to have those moments to take time for yourself. So I really loved the fact that you encompassed, it's not just empowering women in relationships, but it's empowering women to take that moment and be a little bit selfish and actually treat themselves, like Maria says. So I thought that was beautiful.
So Fernanda, for you, provide similar questions. So,
Oh, we're having
we're losing you guys.
Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, so me and Fernanda, we'll just have a quick chat
Why not?
while we're still running on live. How did you feel knowing that a play had been written for you, like a script had been written for you?
So it was quite literally one of the biggest highlights of my life. That says a lot about me. But no, like just the idea that someone's like, I know you and I know that you could do this and that you could draw this stuff out of this character. I think I was just, I've got no words. I'm just in awe that I got the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're really, really, really blessed that, we met these boys, what was it, 5-6 years ago in Sydney, and we've watched them and their careers develop as well. And that, we could be a part of that and then have something written for us. It's quite special. Boys, are we back?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Can you see us?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. There we go.
All right. So that warms my heart that you enjoyed it that much. I honestly, I wrote this in such a rush. I was like, it was literally just an exercise for me. But the question I was asking, the question I was asking Sam was, so I wanted to be able to Marie's character. I wanted to see a bit older. How do you feel about that?
Yep. So everyone can probably hear that we can hear, which is quite disjointed. So if we've got anyone watching and you've got any questions that you want to pop up, thanks to Jem and Mel who sent through their questions. That was great. And there's nothing like a little plot twist kind of reveal. Fernanda, you've seen that movie, The Women, where you don't realize, but the whole movie goes ahead until right at the very end, where you realize you haven't seen one man at all in the whole show, the whole movie.
Yeah.
So those kind of little drop ball moments are really special.
Yeah. And I think you see it a little bit as well in musical theatre, and we both obviously love musical theatre, but in Steel Magnolias or theatre, where you do have those single female casts, and all of a sudden you go, hang on a second, what's going on? So they're rare, very rare. There's, I think, possibly more productions that are male focused or centered. I think it's changing though, with time and with directors and writers taking a little bit more risks, which is really exciting as well. Increases opportunity.
Absolutely. And we are really on the precipice now of what's going to be in the arts boom. Once all of this is over and we're all back out on the stage and everything, I think everyone's appreciation for the arts and everyone's love for it is really just going to explode.
Boom. Especially next year in April, right? So what's happening in next year April?
Good plug for those of our friends that know me and Fernanda are both in Hornsby Musical Society's production of Beautiful, the Carole King musical. So after a few COVID delays, we were going to go from April this year to October this year, but now we're going on from the 15th to the 18th of April next year. So that's the Hornsby Musical Society, and we'll tag their page so you can have a little look and have a look at some tickets. There's nothing more rewarding than the time leading up to a production and then being able to actually put it on. So now that we're going to have a protracted time, rehearsal time, over a year, I don't think that even happens in, big ass shows.
Yes.
Yeah,
and also not just big things are happening for us personally, but also Ryan's just going to be sending through a link for what's happening in the Thornhill Theatre space. So if the couch reading of Darkness and Light at Pittsburgh Virtual Fringe will be occurring on Saturday, May 30th at 8 p.m. And he will also be tagging the links and the information for that with this video once we finish.
Isn't it just wonderful that we can really bring the whole globe together? Pittsburgh,
absolutely.
in the States, we had New Zealand participate. We're in Australia. It's just really special. So thanks everyone for tuning in and for joining in. And thanks to the boys so much.
Yes, thanks guys.
Amazing.